2026. The world is at war over oil, power, and money. Nations rise and fall on black gold, while the rich count their billions and the powerful redraw borders. But beneath the surface, away from the cameras and the headlines, the ocean is bleeding. A black death is spreading in silence. This is a film about the true cost of every barrel: dead dolphins, a destroyed ocean, and an ending we are writing with our own hands. Imagine a world where there isn't a single word, not a single letter, not a single screen. And yet, in that world, there is a language, more complex than any human one. Long before humans learned to speak, long before we built our first cities, they were already communicating. For millions of years, dolphins, they live in a world we can barely imagine, a world of near total darkness, where sunlight cannot reach the deep. But they don't need light, because they see with sound. Every second, a dolphin sends hundreds of sound pulses into the water, clicks, whistles, signals. Those waves travel through the sea, strike a fish, a rock, the ocean floor, and return back. And the dolphin's brain instantly builds a three-dimensional map of the world around it from those echoes. More precise than any radar, more precise than any instrument humans have ever created. A mother can hear her calf's heartbeat from hundreds of meters away. She knows whether it's sleeping or awake, sick or healthy, calm or afraid, from the sound of its heart alone. A dolphin's brain weighs about 1,700 grams. Ours is about 1,400. They recognize themselves in mirrors. They give each other names, unique signature whistles that belong to one individual only, like a name, like a soul. They play for pleasure. They help the injured. They have pushed drowning people to the surface. This has been documented many times. And they grieve. When a member of the pod dies, the others circle the body for hours. They touch it with their fins. They make sounds they never make in ordinary life. Scientists call it mourning. These are not fish. This is a civilization, parallel to ours, living on this planet far longer than we have. This is the world they lived in for thousands of years, until we arrived. The 20th century, humanity discovered oil beneath the sea floor, and the ocean stopped being quiet. Drilling platforms, seismic air guns, tanker engines, the propellers of cargo ships. Do you know how loud a seismic air gun is? The kind used to search for oil? 250 decibels. For comparison, a jet engine is around 150. The human pain threshold is around 120. 250 decibels is a sound that can damage tissue, and it repeats every 10 seconds, 24 hours a day, for months. Underwater, a single seismic blast can be heard, up to 4,000 kilometers away. For a dolphin, it's a catastrophe. Their world is built on sound. Sound is their sight, their speech, their bond with their mother, their calf, their pod. And then noise crashes into that world with such force that echolocation simply stops working. Their signals drown in chaos. The dolphin goes blind in the middle of the ocean. It can't find food. It can't find its pod. It can't find its calf. It thrashes. It panics. It strands itself on shore, trying to escape a sound that comes from everywhere. In areas of active drilling, dolphins simplify their communication. They stop using complex signals. They stop talking. They fall silent. Imagine your mouth taped shut, your eyes covered, and then being thrown onto a busy highway. That is what a dolphin feels like near an oil platform. And that's only the noise. The worst is still ahead. April 20th, 2010. The Gulf of Mexico. The Deepwater Horizon oil rig. An explosion. Fire. 11 people died. And then, from a well a mile beneath the surface, oil began to gush. Straight into the ocean, unstoppable. 87 days, 780 million liters of crude oil poured into the Gulf of Mexico. The slick covered about 180,000 square kilometers. That's larger than the entire country of Greece. But Deepwater Horizon is not an exception. It's a pattern. Every year, between 8 and 12 million tons of oil products enter the world's oceans. Tanker accidents, pipeline leaks, industrial runoff. It happens every day. It's just not filmed every day. Oil in water is not just a black film on the surface. It's a complex mixture of hundreds of toxic compounds: benzene, toluene, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, heavy metals. Each one is poison. When oil enters the sea, the light fractions evaporate, but they poison the air above the water. The very air a dolphin breathes every time it surfaces. One breath above an oil sheen, and its lungs begin to burn from the inside. The lining breaks down. Pneumonia begins, slow, painful. The heavier fractions sink. They settle on the seafloor, on seaweed, on coral. They enter plankton, microscopic organisms that form the base of the ocean's food chain. Contaminated plankton is eaten by small fish. Small fish are eaten by bigger fish. Bigger fish are eaten by dolphins. And at every step, the toxin concentration grows, 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. This is bioaccumulation. A dolphin sits at the top of that chain. It receives the maximum dose every day with every fish. The poison builds in its fat, in its liver, in its brain for years, quietly, invisible. It doesn't cough. It doesn't limp. It simply dies slowly from the inside. Dolphins are mammals, like us. They breathe air, like us. They give birth to live young, like us. And they feed them milk, like us. A female carries her calf for 12 months, a full year. She protects it even before birth, swimming slower, staying close to the pod. Other females surround her, protect her, help during birth. Dolphins have midwives, like humans once did. When the calf is born, the first thing the mother does is push it to the surface, so it can take its first breath, its first mouthful of air, its first sound. Then she feeds it, with her milk, 15 to 20 times a day. But here is what we know now. All the toxins the mother has accumulated over years in a polluted sea, benzene, toluene, heavy metals, are stored in her fat. And dolphin milk is about 40% fat. With the first swallow of milk, the calf receives poison, concentrated, stored up for years. Its immune system is not yet formed. Its liver can't filter toxins. Its brain is still developing. It is doomed from the first day. After the Gulf spill, newborn dolphin mortality rose by 800%. 8 out of 10 calves were stillborn or died within the first weeks of life. Adult females showed lung lesions, destroyed adrenal glands, hormonal collapse, anemia. Their bodies were falling apart from the inside. But the most unbearable part is not the numbers, it's the behavior. Researchers documented dozens of cases where a mother dolphin would not let go of her dead calf. She lifted it onto her back and pushed it to the surface. Again and again. For hours. For days. She nudged it with her snout. She swam circles around it. She called to it, with the unique whistle that belonged only to that calf. Its name, but it didn't answer. One female carried her dead calf on her back for 6 days. 6 days she didn't eat. She didn't rest. She didn't leave the body. She knew it was dead. She simply couldn't let it go because she loved it, and we took that away from her. After every major spill, we hear the same lines. The situation is under control. The impact has been contained. The ecosystem is recovering. Beautiful words, soothing reports, photos of volunteers washing birds, and then the cameras leave. The news moves on, and everyone forgets. But the sea does not forget. Do you know what companies often use to remove oil from the surface? Dispersants, chemicals that break oil into microscopic droplets. The slick disappears. The water looks clean. The report photos are taken, but the oil is still there. It has simply become invisible. Billions of micro droplets, each toxic, sink into the water column, settle on the bottom, soak into sediments, enter living bodies. Worse still, dispersants themselves are toxic. Studies showed that the mixture of oil and dispersants can be 52 times more toxic than oil alone. We didn't remove the poison, we made it stronger, and we hid it. 12 years after Deepwater Horizon, researchers were still finding oil in the tissues of Gulf dolphins. 12 years, calves born a decade later were still being poisoned. The toxin passes from generation to generation, through milk, through the placenta, through the water. This is not an accident. This is an inheritance we are leaving the ocean for decades to come. Let's look at the numbers. Over the last 50 years, global marine mammal populations have been cut in half. In the Black Sea, around 250,000 dolphins remain. In the 1990s, there were more than 1 million. In the Mediterranean, populations declined by 3 to 5% every year. In the Persian Gulf, one of the most oil-polluted bodies of water on Earth, dolphins are close to disappearing. The Yangtze River dolphin was declared extinct in 2006. The Maui dolphin, fewer than 60 remain. Amazon River dolphins have lost 65% of their population over the last 20 years. and now the forecast. If ocean pollution continues at the same rate, if offshore drilling keeps expanding, if we keep treating dispersants as a solution, by the 2040s, dolphin populations in enclosed seas, the Black Sea, the Caspian, the Mediterranean, could drop by 70 to 80%. By 2050, several dolphin species may disappear entirely, forever. But dolphins are only the beginning. Phytoplankton, microscopic organisms in the sunlit layer of the ocean, produce between 50 and 80% of Earth's oxygen, more than all the forests combined. Oil kills phytoplankton. When phytoplankton dies, oxygen falls, carbon dioxide rises, warming accelerates, the ocean becomes more acidic, coral dies, fish vanish. 2 billion people depend on fish as their primary source of protein. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's a survival issue. We think we're killing dolphins. No, we're killing ourselves. They just die first. But this story can have a different ending. Norway has restricted oil exploration in several North Sea areas to protect marine ecosystems. Costa Rica has declared vast waters a national marine protected area, over 500,000 square kilometers. International courts have begun recognizing states' obligations to protect the ocean from pollution. Scientists are developing biological cleanup methods, bacteria that consume oil products, without harsh chemicals, without dispersants. Renewable energy, sun, wind, tides, is already cheaper than oil in many regions. We can change this. The question isn't technology. We have technology. The question is whether we will choose to use it. They can't scream on our news channels. They don't march in protests. They don't sign petitions. They don't file lawsuits. They have only a voice, a whistle in dark water, an echo that returns unanswered. And we drowned it out. While you listen to this film, about 300 tons of oil entered the ocean. Somewhere, a mother dolphin breathed poisoned air above an oil sheen. While you listened, somewhere a calf took its first swallow of toxic milk. You already know. Now you can't say. You didn't hear. Hear them before it becomes silent forever.